Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for hemp. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp.
Yes, it is. It is time for hemp. I am your host, Casper Leach. Thank you for tuning in to the big broadcast today. Please share us with your friends. That's how we get found around on the internet. Also, if you go to timeforhemp.news, you'll find all kinds of great podcasts you can download. We got a large archive of information to share and lots of free, groovy cannabis tunes that you might want to add to your musical playlist to make your day a happy one. And don't forget, anytime you hear the word joint on the big broadcast, we ask that you fire up your bongs, your pipes, your vaporizers, and take time for hemp. Speaking of joints, there you go. That's the time to take a hit. I have a couple of great joint hosts on the big broadcast. And one of my joint hosts, I would say, is Normal, but that would be Norml. He used to be a part of Normal back in the 1600s, I think, or 1700s. And then he founded a couple of other organizations, served in the military, and wrote a groovy book about all that is done. His name is Al Bird. Hey, Al.
Hi. Yeah, Al Byrne. I wrote the book, and you see it's for country and cannabis. And the for country part is my experience in the U.S. Navy, 24 years. I retired. And how cannabis instigated problems within the military, created situations of distrust. And then after retiring, I moved on, as Casper said, to actually running Normal, if such a thing could have been done, for 3 or 4 years. And in that time, helped to, as these guys we're going to interview today are doing really well, helped to start the conversation on a national level, even international level, about medical cannabis, period.
Well, let's bring them on.
Yeah, take their skills and use it. And
well,
boy, are they doing
our other joint host, Al Graham. He's up in Canada. He's got a great radio network and a TV network called the Pace Radio Network.
Yes, people advocating cannabis education. We talk about cannabis as well as psychedelics. We interview people. We talk about the news, as well as we educate people about both cannabis and psychedelics. Catch us 7 days a week, paceradio.net and 420pace.ca.
And you're bringing with you today 2 amazing guests onto the program.
Yes, we had them earlier on a different segment. Today we've brought them back to learn more. In that first segment, we learned all about Kim Saltarski. He's a documentary creator, filmmaker, how he battled cancer using just cannabis in order to defeat it. And we talked to Fabian Henry, who is a retired sergeant from the Canadian Armed Forces. And Kim and Fabian have gotten together, and they are creating another documentary about Fabian's journey and trauma to deal with veterans. So today
welcome, gentlemen.
About that.
Welcome, gentlemen.
All right, time to bring them on. We'd like to welcome Fabian Henry and Kim Saltarski to the Time for Hemp broadcast. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I want to interrupt right away, and then I'll shut up. I just learned in the interim that Fabian Henry is not just a military member of the Canadian Forces. He's a combat engineer. Well, in the United States, we call those guys Seabees. And I was a Seabee, 7.5 years. So, hey, man, we're brothers more than one way. Good for you.
All right.
So you've done this groovy documentary about helping veterans with their difficulties and having recovery from their time in the military?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
go ahead, Kim.
no, I was saying, yeah, so our documentary is called About Turn Veterans Transforming Trauma. And it's a feature documentary that will be released the end of summer 2026. That's our target. And it focuses on Fabian, his story, but it balloons in. It's way more than just Fabian Henry, as he's the first to humbly tell you. It's about his clinic and so many other veterans. We had the honor to track their story from the darkest days into the positivity of transformation when you find the right path that works for you individually to do that. So yeah, so we got a documentary that we're so thrilled about. We're in post-production now, and yeah.
Well, and how did you find him? I mean, did you guys bump into each other at coffee at Starbucks, or were you at a hemp rally together? Did you see about him in the news? How did you find Fabian?
Yeah, well, I mentioned earlier I had gotten a little bit of press, and my mission, once I was able to suppress melanoma stage 3B cancer using cannabis and other health things, and I made a bunch of documentaries of other incredible healers that I would get on the podcast circuit. So I do a podcast, and you meet cool people like you, and then it's like, oh, well, Alan Casper, I got to listen to their show. So 2 episodes later, this guy Fabian Henry comes on, and I'm like, holy shit, that's a story.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Right. And then I got to get a hold of him, but I have to be very careful to commit myself to anything, because documentaries basically consume a bunch of your life. And I want to honor my word when I go to someone to say, hey, I'd like to tell your story. I better be able to do it. So it was the second time, a year later, I was on a podcast, and then Fabian comes again, and I'm like, oh my God, I just got to say hi to this guy. Thank you. And ask him, is anybody doing a documentary? And he said, yeah, let's talk about it. So we started filming just shy of 2 years ago, and have had 28 days together, and I've learned so much. And yeah, so we sort of came across by being in this sort of podcast healing plant medicine circuit, and we just sort of connected. And I'm the co-director, co-producer. My other amazing 50-50 partner is Karen Haas, who couldn't be with us today. And so we've been on a mission to work Fabian and his team with the support of Veterans House Alliance International to fund us. And yeah, it's been a great ride meeting Fabian. We just sort of clicked.
Now, Fabian, your time in the military, you saw some really ugly things, and you had to deal with some really amazing situations that the average human would never even be able to fathom, and take it and turn it into a positive later down your road. Now, how did you pull that together?
Good question. First of all, it was a pleasure to serve for Canada. And I compare it to, like, I was a young hockey player, and I always wanted to play in the NHL. And that would be the epitome of playing hockey. As a soldier, the epitome of combat and soldiering is actually going to war. So when you're with your brothers and sisters and you're in combat, or I'd imagine it's like the coal miners under the ocean, and you only got your people with you, and that's it. You're far away from somewhere like Scotchtown, where I grew up. That led me to injuries, mental health injuries that a system wasn't quite prepared to take care of. They now know it's called PTSD or PTS or whatever you want. It's a mental health issue that takes people off the planet, just like cancer will take you off the planet. Only it's catastrophic, So it led me to finding a new way to heal other than what was presented to me traditionally.
So tell us about your clinic.
Yeah, it's a total health approach clinic. We have a 4-pillar roadmap. We have a variety of practitioners. There's an intake process. It's all designed to lead you down a path that has predictive outcomes for the most part. But it's a chance to tell your story, have that handed over to a group of professionals, have that reviewed by Veteran Affairs Canada to potentially get you acknowledged for the injuries, for stuff like 18,000 soldiers were sexually assaulted in the Canadian Forces, and they won a $900 million lawsuit. There's a bunch that didn't even say anything because it's embarrassing. So whether combat or rape, we try not to really compare our stories post-service and focus on what's working, like the medicine and hiking and food and gathering and fires and songs and singing and dancing and being silly a little bit.
And this documentary that's been put together, it puts a spotlight on the entire team, I take it.
Yeah, and About Turn is a drill movement, gentlemen. It's a 180-degree drill movement in America, and a shout out to my close friend Josh Frey in Florida, Two Purple Heart, Iraq veteran. It's about face for you guys, and it's about turn for us guys. It's a 180-degree drill movement, and it's supposed to symbolize taking off the uniform and answering the question, "Who am I now?" It's quite different than soldier, and it's
Oh
a
my
tough
gosh,
one.
it is.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, it is. I mean, just for a sergeant in the military, when he says jump, bitch, you do. And then when that sergeant rolls into civilian life and gets a job that pays the equivalent, that sergeant's in middle management. And when he says jump, they go, oh, no, I don't think so. My management team says I don't have to.
Yeah. Good thing that we don't have, I'm not answering to a management team.
Well, I know, but I mean, to deal with that adjustment, and even as a private, I know that when I got out of the military for almost 2 years, I walked like I was in the military. My finger,
Right.
and I marched almost down the road. And
very critical time, eh? When they no longer need you anymore, and you're waiting to be a civilian. That's a very difficult time for people.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
exactly.
documentary that you put together, Kim, what did you learn about this team?
Well, to be honest, I'd never really had a lot of direct experience with veterans. So it was an education of what the reality of who veterans are, what they've gone through, and the kind of people they are as a tribe. So it was, I'm, admittedly, I'm a story junkie. I love a good story. I love a good redemption story. I love a good positivity story. So Fabian and his gang have everything of that built in. So I learned that even people who have suffered the most sort of atrocious mental and physical health can find a pathway to heal. And when you shine a light on that kind of thing, it makes, whether you're a veteran or not, just gives you a little bit of hope. This is like, well, Fabian can do it despite all of that trauma and all of those challenges, then someone else can do it. So that's great and obvious. I also found out, veterans are very punctual. You're going to meet someone at 9 o'clock. You better be there at 10:02, and other things. And they're just, it's been such a thrill to be welcomed in as a civilian. Like I'm not part of that, but they welcomed me and allowed the privilege of, filming them nonstop for 28 days, cameras rolling. That takes a lot of trust. So it's been quite a thrill and education for me. And I want that to be translated for this film, not only to resonate with veterans, and that's the most important thing. If we are successful with veterans seeing a reflection of themselves authentically, that's great. But the whole point is to spread this movement and awareness to redefine who veterans are and how alternative ways of healing, taking an 180-degree about turn, about face into plant medicine and away from pharmaceuticals can benefit all people. So yeah, it's been a thrill.
Well, and you're right. That was one of the things that made Judge James Gray, when he was on the network a lot, surprised when I told him I was going to start the show at 3 o'clock. I showed up at 2:59. And it always blew his mind. But you learn that in the military, if you're supposed to be in formation at 8 a.m., your time is all your time, and you take every minute that belongs to you before you give it to the Army. Because once you show up for that, then you got to jump, and you're told to jump. So most members made formation like about anywhere between 5 and 2 minutes before they had to be there.
But they're never late.
No. Oh,
no. It's a good habit. It's a good habit, and I wish more people in the civilian world would copy us. Mm-hmm. But copy. What you're doing is super important. As one of these vets that go back in time here with this shit, I always hoped, and I think it's been proven, that veterans using cannabis would stand up and say, look, I fought for this country. I gave it all. I come home. I need some friggin' help. Give it to me. Yeah. And like I say, even the VA in the summer of 2010, 15 years ago, said it's good medicine. So we've convinced the veterans know, everybody knows. But your example that you're setting with your clinic your involvement and having all this veteran involvement as well is just an example that can be taken by documentary to the civilian community.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not, somebody said this earlier. I mean, it's just not vets that have problems.
Mm-hmm.
Auto accidents, plane crashes, somebody gets shot on the street and you see it. I mean, all of that is all post-traumatic stress, and it's serious emotional stress.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just what it is. Stress is a killer, and post-traumatic stress. And if you can lower that stress level by being around people that are healthy for you and by using cannabis. And by the way, that endocannabinoid system we haven't mentioned yet, that's in every human being, is also in every creature on earth excepting insects. So
here's a question for I don't care who takes it, but one of you need to is what did you learn? What did people learn when they watched the documentary? I mean, do you guys just get together for one big pop party every other day and woohoo, and that takes care of our stress? I mean, I know that I'm giving you a silly, a silly thing to jump on, but tell us about your organization. How do you help people? And what are people going to learn through this documentary about you and your team?
Yeah, good question. And we don't use cannabis for fun. So it's okay that it's legal in Canada, first of all, but it's not fun for us to use. And I wish I didn't have to smoke cannabis every day of my life. Second of all, it's replacing a receptor deficiency in my brain in the endocannabinoid system called anandamide. It's derived from the Sanskrit word ananda, which means bliss and delight. So I have a drop in that. And when I smoke, I feel happy for a minute, not like a zombie. And that gives me the time to then show up to my therapist and work on the root cause of my trauma. 2007, talking to a Black Hawk helicopter pilot to pick up 2 dead Canadians. That's a tough pill to swallow. So let's not swallow that. Let's work on the healing and try to grow through that trauma. And so be it, cannabis helped me show up, but it still took work to get there. Also with the help of psilocybin and doing some really ceremonial work, it knocked some of the crust off and it opened up a different way of thinking, and it challenged every way I was thinking, to be honest. And no one really said cannabis is going to save your life. I thought that was going to happen. It's just a Band-Aid. It happens to be the best Band-Aid to treat trauma, in my opinion, of the symptoms. But the real work happens in therapy and getting back out there in life, getting your pee-pee slapped a little bit and trying again and again. That's how you grow. Hopefully this documentary shines a light on a new way to heal, what the new modern veteran looks like, that you have options and you're at the center of care. And you better try and reach out to all the potential options, not just listen to one person, like Kim did, and you do your research, be skeptical, and then go for it.
Now, Al mentioned about your clinic as well as the documentary. I've got a clip here that highlights your clinic as well as the documentary. So why don't we give that a play?
I'm Sergeant Fabian Henry, retired combat engineer, 12 years of service, 6 deployments for Canada and the Canadian Armed Forces, and now I'm the founder and CEO of Veterans for Healing. We put together the treatment team at Veterans for Healing. We have a psychiatrist, a doctor, one who will prescribe cannabis, therapist to treat your mental health needs, an OT to navigate some of your homework, social worker to do intake for you.
Good afternoon, Veterans for Healing. Chelsea speaking.
Hi, Kim. Have a seat.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Yvonne Lebis.
Hello, Andrea. It's Julianne calling from Veterans for Healing. I was just calling to check in on you.
We're the first of its kind, so unlike anywhere else, you're really helping the people that have helped our country be what it is.
This is your good conduct medal. That's for 12 years or more service.
Amazing.
And my progression is getting better. Yeah, because the Gulf War was a hard thing for me to talk about before. Yeah, and I lost 2 friends in Afghanistan.
It is a difficult path to have to contend with being a soldier. People don't seem to understand. We have a unique path to walk.
Yeah, and what really blew my mind is, the veterans that go in, like Fabian said, their hands are held, they're taught how to walk, talk, pee, do whatever. And you would expect on the exit plan, like any good HR, you're given, here's all this support. Thank you so much, especially if you're forced out from injury, mental or physical. But when I found out most of them are just sort of left to the wilds, and the application process to Veterans Affairs Canada is so difficult that it causes a whole ripple of continued illness and proper self-care. That was shocking. So the documentary really shines a light on that. And what Fabian's doing with his clinic, it's not only is he treating it, the first stage is just getting you able to get the benefits that's due to you. So Fabian does a lot of that, and then he takes you through for all 4 pillars. And the transformation I've seen of some of our subjects in the documentary is phenomenal. Fabian being the first, but starts off as the Fabian story because that's how we get in, but it becomes so much more than that.
Yeah, exactly. I see you mentioned there in that write-up in front of you on the screen there, it says that it's a point of view documentary that weaves together Fabian's dramatic life story as we follow the diverse veteran clinics working through the clinic's 4-pillar approach to heal and find a new purposeful life beyond the PTSD battlefield. Now, as far as the 4-pillar approach, what is those 4 pillars, Fabian?
Yeah, so at first we're navigating for folks. We do our own assessment as Fabian and my team. Tell us your story, and we start to navigate the VA process for you. It's very complex, very difficult, whether American or Canadian, it's very difficult. Secondly, once we have identified what's going on, you have mental health and physical issues, we assign you to the appropriate practitioner, whether it be the chiropractor, pain specialist, psychiatrist, therapist. Thirdly, we have a 110-acre retreat on Cape Breton Island, Canada's #1 island. I brought a few American soldiers up there and did some wellness work. Pillar 3 is about having fun. It's about being silly, tapping into your spirit again, dancing, fires, hiking, small party tasks, maybe swimming, all kinds of fun. And that happens in Pillar 3. You don't get to go to Pillar 3 unless you follow steps 1 and 2 there. Pillar 4, it's a little bit longer out, but when folks feel good, when they're financially stable, they got their treatment team, some of them want to get back at life and want to get into work or want to open a company or want to do something with their life other than retirement. And we help them sharing our lessons learned. We share our accounting lessons and our legal lessons and our business lessons, and it's all free, and it's in the intent to help and applaud those getting back at it.
How did you get that amazing retreat? I mean, did you just go up there and claim the land and go, ooh gaga, we own this, or what?
You're damn right we did. And what's even funny is, so it came to me, I had to borrow money from somebody to buy this piece of land. It's the #1 waterfall called Egypt Falls is on our property.
Wow.
Hundreds of people a day coming there, but we have our own little part. What I come to find out, backed onto our 100 acres, is a Vietnam vet, a Canadian who served in the American Army, who has 4 Bronze Stars and 4 Purple Hearts. Wow. And he lives in the forest, and he bought his own 100 acres back after the Vietnam War, and he hid himself in the woods for years and decades. And we found the land, and it happens to be backed onto his, and you can't make that shit up, boys. You cannot make that up. And we're forever connected to each other, and we have to lead the way. Sometimes we have to lead the way. And as engineers, we don't mind doing that.
So I guess you're not I guess you're not playing war games on those 100 islands, huh?
No, we're not playing war games, man. We're playing guitars these days, and we're eating our mushroom and smoking our medicine and eating our food, and we got gardens and canoes and shit. We're not playing war games, no.
And this is male and female veterans. It's everybody, right?
It's everybody. Yeah, I mean, you're male, female, whatever. That's not.
And is it for veterans only?
It is for veterans only. Unfortunately, I've finally taken a stance, and I'm only serving the veteran and their family. Everyone else can see what we're doing and copy and paste by all means.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
so why don't you give a shout out to your organization and your website again, there, Fabian?
Yeah, it's Veterans for Healing. The letter V, the number 4, the word healing.com. It's aboutTurnDoc.com. Follow us along, Kim and Karen. Have done a fine job on capturing our existence. And it's something that will be forever marked in time. You can check us out on Facebook, Veterans for Healing, Yeah, follow along, folks.
And Kim, you do a groovy podcast, and you got some wonderful documentaries that people need to learn from. Why don't you let people know all about that?
Yeah, the primary one is THC, the Healing Conversation. So you can find THC on YouTube, and we have a website that could direct you there, which is thcseries.com. And all my previous documentaries are sort of umbrellaed in there. We're having About Turn as its solo thing, but that'll eventually come into it. So yeah, THC, the Healing Series, please check it out. There's a lot of healing, but we are really super stoked about shining light on veterans and Fabian's sort of transformative work, taking it to the next level on aboutturndoc.com.
And Al Graham, you got a groovy little radio network up there in Canada. Canada, is that how you pronounce it? Canada?
Canada.
Oh,
paceradio.net. Our broadcasts do go out in audio as well as in video, so you can watch us. So don't let the website paceradio.net fool you. We cover psychedelics as well as cannabis, and we believe that sharing one story helps educate lots of other people.
And speaking of stories, Al Byrne, you wrote this groovy little book. They can find it where?
You know, everybody knows we're old, the three of us. But when you say groovy, oh my. The youngins are going, these guys aren't old, they're ancient. And they're right.
You bet you're bippy, baby.
yeah. Anyway, I wrote the book. It's worth reading. And let me just say this. There's going to be people that are going to listen to this, and they're going to say, it's just these guys just talking. Anecdotal story. Anecdotal. Screw you. I have listened to hundreds of thousands anecdotal comments, and when there's that many and they all say the same thing, that's data. And these guys are collecting data, and I applaud what you've done. Thank you so much for keeping it veteran orientated and inclusive to veterans. I think that's most important. Thank you, guys. It's great. Great
and
to have
I want to salute you, Fabian and Al Byrne, for serving the military and protecting our freedoms. And Kim and Al Graham, I want to let you know it is an honor to be in the foxhole with you in this war on drugs. All five of us are still serving in a war, and it is this war on drugs. And I thought I had retired, but I guess you can't retire from this, because until we end this war on drugs, people will never fully understand just how important it is to take time for hemp.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for hemp. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp. Throughout Earth's history, hemp has been used, no mystery. Hemp was legal to pay your taxes for more than a century. Check your faxes, founding fathers make sense to me. It's time to grow hemp legally. Think of all its uses, it's money that's well spent. Right now, no excuses, it's time for hemp. Sustainable green industry, that's our intent. A better place this world will be. It's time for hemp. Fuel and food and clothes and soap. Housing, cars, yeah, cars, no joke. Henry Ford built a car on hemp. It's time for us to do it again. People be employed with balanced farming as it's meant. Right now it's time for hemp. Hemp is a true necessity for the wealth and protection of this country. Thomas Jefferson spoke those words, he knew the value of these herds. It's time to lift the hemp ban. It's time to make a strong stand. Yes, we can, I know we can. I know we can. We can make a difference, yes we can. Just like birds of a feather, we can work together and lift the hemp ban. Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look, take some time for hemp. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp.